So, good morning once again to all of you. And now we are going to see the approaches and types of research. And we have seen the four types, that is by purpose of research, by use, and by time span of data collection, and by type of data. So, we have seen these three type of approaches. And today we are going to see the types by types of data. Okay, so directly I will go for that particular slide. There are two types for that, and other approaches are also there. So by type of data, we have qualitative data and the quantitative data. Okay, and the other approaches are also there, like comparative research, operation research, system analysis, development, model development research, product design research, Delphi research, technology based research, bibliometric to almetric, user study, use study, and the field study. So this also today we are going to see. We are only not going into the depth of that, but at least you should understand what are the meaning of that particular approaches. Okay, so that also we are going to see. So directly I am going to their types of data. We have seen the evaluative longitudinal research and the cross-sectional research also. Okay, so till here I think we have completed, and now we are going to see the types of research by type of data. So there are two types of research data, like quantitative data and the qualitative data. And based on these two types of data, the researcher means research is categorized into quantitative research and the qualitative research. So quantitative research is the process of collecting and analyzing the numeric data, and it can be also used to find patterns and the average, make prediction, test causal relationship, and generalize the result to wider population. Okay, so here we are following some of the steps in the quantitative research, like whatever theories are there, based on the theories or assumptions, we are making the hypothesis, we are preparing the research design, then how it will be in the operationalizing concept, we are also preparing that. We are selecting a research site or particular field, then selecting the respondent based on the sample study, we are collecting the data, we are also processing the data, analyzing the data, and based on the analysis and the interpretation, we are writing the findings and conclusion. Okay, so this is called as a quantitative data. Quantitative data, when we see in the library science, so you can see that how many users are visiting daily in the library, what type of number of queries they are receiving in the reference section. So here, like how we are means in the acquisition section, what type of books we are acquiring in, means like amount available in the acquisition section, then number of journals we are subscribing in the library, number of ebooks we are acquiring in the library. So this is called as a quantitative research. So here quantitative research is basically based on the quantitative data. Okay, and that's why it is called as a quantitative data, because it will measurable. Okay, measurable in the quantitative parameters, and that's why it is called as a quantitative data. So in the quantitative research, a research that collects and analyzing the quantitative data. And quantitative data can be collected, how we can collect it? Based on the questionnaire. We have to prepare the questionnaire, we have to take the interviews, and we can also collect the data through observations. Okay, so quantitative data is based on the collection of data, how we are collecting the data. For example, if you want to do the quantitative study for the census data, so for the census data you have to take the census reports, so that is also possible. So secondary analysis can also be done in the quantitative research. And quantitative research use the quantitative technique, like in averages we can calculate. We can take the help of the statistical techniques also, or statistical parameters also, like average, like percentage, okay, mean, mode, median also, that we are going to see in our syllabus, that is there. So we are analyzing the data in the quantitative data. Okay, so quantitative research describe the library elements in the quantitative way. And for example, how many users are daily coming to the library, so this, see, we are representing it in the quantitative manner. So the quantitative data and its quantitative analysis are the two more important features of the quantitative research. And here we are taking the study of a large population. This will be the next feature of the quantitative research. And here, whenever we select a population, we are using the sampling methods. That also we are going to see in the next class. So it also involves selecting adequate and representative sampling. Why we have to select the adequate and representative sampling? Because for the analysis purpose and for the generalization purpose, we have to select the samples. So generalization is the next, means fourth important features of the quantitative data. Okay. So therefore, this quantitative research is basically representing, it is a research of representative research, because we are not taking the whole sample. We are not taking the whole population. We are selecting the sample, and based on the sample, we are representing the facts that make called as a generalizations. Okay. So quantitative research is the opposite of qualitative research. In the qualitative research, that we are going to see in the next slide, what is quantitative research. So basically quantitative research brings objectivity in research, because it will give the precise, because you are measuring the data, you are measuring the verifiables of the research, and that's why objectivity we can maintain here, like how the data is valid, what will be the reliability of the data. So like that, we are getting the maximum precision in the quantitative research. Okay, because accuracy analysis we are also doing in the quantitative research. For example, you can say that 40% students visit library every day. So this 40%, what it indicates? It indicates the quantity of the users. Okay, and that's why you are very sure that yes, after collecting the data, you are sure that 40% out of 100% users, like if any library is having the 200 users, and out of that, if 150 or 180 users are coming daily for using the library, then it will be becomes a 40%. So based on that quantity, based on the measurable parameters, so you can say that yes, 40% users are coming to the library. So that research is called as a quantitative research, because we have collected the data based on the measurable variables. Okay. So there is no approximation of data analysis in the quantitative research. We can also use here the survey and experimental research. Okay, and which is also coming under the quantitative research. And most of the research, whatever research we are doing in library science, that is the quantitative research. Okay. Then here we sometimes we take the secondary analysis also. Primary data also we take in the quantitative research. Secondary means, primary means what? Directly from the users you are taking the data. For example, to know the reading habits of the users of public library. So you are going to public library, you have to visit the public library, then you meet the users of the public library based on your random sampling or based on your sampling technique, then you are collecting the data. So primarily data, that is called. In the secondary analysis also you can do it in the quantitative research. Secondary analysis means data is already available in the library. For example, if we can take the circulation records of the library. So if you are circulating the books, or if you are issuing the books and returning the books, that data we have to maintain in the library, and based on that you can also collect the data from the circulation section. Means what type of users are coming to the library, what type of books they are circulating, means they are issuing from the library. So if you want to do the study, there is every possible way you can do it based on the quantitative research. Okay, so I think you have understood what is meant by quantitative research. In quantitative research, in summary, we can say that in quantitative research, we are collecting the data from the primary and the secondary sources, or we can take the questionnaires, we can make a prepare a questionnaires, and based on that we are collecting the data and we have to analyze the data, and based on the analysis or the representative sampling we are generalizing the fact. Okay, so that is called as a quantitative research. Then the next one is qualitative research. Okay, qualitative research involves collecting and analyzing non-numerical data to understand the concept, opinion, or experiences. Qualitative research is the opposite of quantitative research, which involves collecting and analyzing the numeric data for statistical analysis. Okay. Now here qualitative research collects and analyze only the qualitative data, and data measured in qualitative parameter is called as a quantitative data, means sorry, qualitative data. So for example, here data about the individual thoughts we are taking, individual attitudes we are taking, emotions, behavior or expression or expectations also we can take in the quantitative data. And qualitative data is expressed in the qualitative terms. For example, I will just ask you one question, how this presentation will be. Okay, so the qualitative, if we are doing the qualitative research for regarding this presentation, then what we can say that we can give a 2 3 options, like the presentation is good, the presentation is best, the presentation is better. So like that if we are taking it, then it is called as a qualitative research, because here in number we are not showing anything, okay, which cannot be measurable. Based on that we are showing the opinions, we are showing the attitudes of the users, like, so like it may be the library services is good, library services are best, library services are better. So like this we are using the term in the qualitative data. So sometimes we are also using the library services are satisfactory, library services are unsatisfactory, library services are excellent. So like this we are representing the data in the qualitative data. Okay, so the qualitative research. And the qualitative data cannot be expressed in the precise parameters, because here there is no precise parameter. Best, why it is best, but means based on certain parameter we can calculate, means we can approximation is there, but here we cannot say this may be the precise one. Okay, why it is best, then you have to means rectify the data. So qualitative data is not measurable in the quantitative parameters. Okay, so qualitative data can be collected with the help of interviews, we can collect it, with the help of field studies also we can collect it. And here many a times respondent actual writing or statements, whatever statements we are asking, so that statement are recorded as a qualitative data. Okay, suppose I asked the question, how this library is useful or not, means how the library services, how do you rate the library services. So your recorded statement can be used for qualitative analysis. Okay, so observation, here in the qualitative data we can collect the data through observation also, through interview also, through open-ended questionnaire also we can collect the data. And the another method is that content analysis. Okay, so content analysis is another way to collect the qualitative data. So that we are generally doing the content analysis of any journals or the periodicals. Okay, so for that we are using the qualitative data. So here also you can use it, the open-ended questionnaire, for doing the qualitative research. You can also use the interview, field study, observation, content analysis. So it is important to collect the data collection techniques are also important in the qualitative research. But here whenever you do the qualitative research, then you have to take a sample very small. Okay, in quantitative research you are taking the sample more. Okay, but here we have to choose the sample, small sample, to collect the data. Why small sample? Because it may not be possible and we have to do it, the qualitative research, in a longer time. So if the sampling is very short or small, then it may be the results or the qualitative analysis can be done easily. Okay, so for that sampling should be very small, and generally for this qualitative research we are using the purposive sampling techniques or snowball sampling technique. That also, what are the different type of sampling techniques are there, that we are going to see in the next classes also. So purposive sampling means purposefully we have chosen that sample, so that is called as a purposive sampling. Okay, so generally the result of data or qualitative research we are presenting in the textual format. Means instead of preparing the word like charts, tables, in quantitative research we are preparing charts, graphs and everything. Okay, graphical representation. But here the textual format we are presenting the data in the qualitative research. Okay, and that will be the presenting result of the qualitative research. And but it has some limitation, qualitative research, because everybody is nowadays doing the quantitative research, but because it has some limitations. The limitation is that whatever qualitative analysis we are doing it, that may be the subjective conclusions. Okay, so sometime we are also taking the bias questions, or biasness in the interpretation could be considered as the major limitation for the quantitative research, qualitative research. So that's why use of the appropriate data collection techniques will help to enhance the objectivity and the quality of the research. So here the limitation is that sometimes the biasness in interpretation could be happen. So we may not be specifically rely on this qualitative data. And in the qualitative research, data is qualitative and the analysis is also qualitative. So here this type of research is not replicable, and also the qualitative research is not generalizable, because it is we have taken only small sample, and that's why we may not be generalize the things. Okay, based on the qualitative analysis. So generalization is not possible in the qualitative research, and whatever the insightful understanding of the individuals or the group or the institutions are there, we have to also take care to collect the qualitative data. The main difference is that qualitative research and quantitative research is that the nature of data we are using for analysis. Okay, like in qualitative research we are using the qualitative data, and in quantitative research we are using the qualitative data. Okay, so quantitative research collects and analyze the quantitative data, like out of 100 users, 40 users are coming daily to the library. But there, here we can say that qualitative research means these are the users, those who are satisfied with the library. Okay, so like that we can we can compare this quantitative research and the qualitative research. Okay, and there are some attributes of the qualitative research which we have seen, that importance of the context, then sometimes the absence of absolute truth is there, importance of meaning, researcher and instrument, participants researcher relationship sometimes we are having. So we maybe the biasness, subjective conclusions we can draw. It depends on the researcher skill, how the result he or she is presenting. Okay. Then flexibility of design, types of issues and the questions, unique online and mobile capability, contextual analysis. Okay. So here we can use all these techniques in the qualitative research, and I hope you have understand the qualitative research and the quantitative research. Okay. So when we do the comparison, we have already seen what is the comparison of quantitative research and the qualitative research. It can be expressed in numbers, it can be expressed in the text. Large sample we are choosing here, small sample we are choosing here. Data is analyzed by the mathematical tool, and here the data is interpreted. We can explore the various ideas, open-ended questions we can ask. Here we can test and confirm the hypothesis, and here closed-ended questions we are asking. Okay, so this is the simple comparison between quantitative result and the qualitative result. And the last one is, so we have seen till now the types of data, types of research, okay, based on the different approaches. So what approaches we have seen? By its purpose, by its use, by time span of data collection, and by type of data. Okay. Now the last one is that other research approaches, methods and types. Okay. So for this, I think it will take some time to understand it, but shall I continue it? So here comparative research method. Comparative research method means two or more elements or variables we can compare it. Okay, in this particular comparative research method. Then operational research method, it is related with the managerial functions, and the operational research aim to solve the managerial problem applying the mathematical principles. And this type of research also help in taking managerial decisions. In librarianship, we have to take the operational research, which is practically useful in resource allocations and work in sequencing. So for that we are using the operational research. Then the system analysis, it is also the managerial technique, and it also a research method, and particularly where we are applying this system analysis techniques to interrelationship between various components of a system. Okay, so sometime library as a system, so from that angle we are using the system analysis techniques. What are the strength and weakness of each subsystems or each elements, and how to solve the particular subsystems, and what will be the effect of one system to another. So for that we are doing the system analysis in library science also. Model development research, it is a graphical or physical representation of an abstract which will be based on the system framework. We are developing here some models for in the logical relationship among the various components of a system, and sometime we are also creating it some models like reference like model for reference service, okay, or online virtual reference service. So that is called as a model development research. Like we are showing the, or we are also creating some of the library networks, okay, within local area. So that will be also model development research. So we are creating here some type of model. Through this model anybody can implement in the library, and then you can say that it is just ideal model development. Okay. Then product design research. Product design research is means based on some laws and principles, we can discuss, we can make one product, and then we can develop some product with the help of various tools, and These tools require for carrying out a particular activity, you can say that like for example, product design research means any here also you are developing the model, but that product can be like, for example, if you are creating the bibliography on that particular author or particular subject, so that can be also called as a one product in library and information science. You are developing the thesaurus for a particular subject, you are developing the taxonomies or ontologies for the particular information retrieval purpose, so that will be the product development or product design. The next method is Delphi research method. It is also useful for predicting the future course of action or future course of development in the given area, and Delphi researcher gather the data through experiences of the senior professionals, and they will analyzing it and how these opinions predict the future research or future course of action that will be done in the Delphi research method. And we can also choose the technology based topics like websites designing or website analysis, like that we can also take the help opaque studies. So visualization, bibliometric and allometric techniques also we are using. Bibliometric and allometric technique means taking effective managerial decision in librarianship. For that purpose, we are using the bibliometric to allometric technique. User study, you are knowing that we are discussing in the research everywhere in our library science field. User study means how the users are there, how what are their behavior, so like that, and how many users are using the library. So user study generally we are doing in the library. Use study means like how many documents they are using. The library use study means otherwise for services also you can do this use study, like circulation sections, how many users use that particular circulation facility. So like that we are doing the many use and user study in the librarianship. And field study is also the actual we have to use the field, it may be the library also. So we are going to the library and then field study we are doing, and we are also observing, we are collecting the data from the researcher, and with the help of various variables, and that can be also called as a field study. So all such type of studies are there which are coming under the other type of research approaches. Okay. So in summary, we can say that whenever you choose the uh, research topics, so you can see that how, for what purpose you are choosing the topics, and then what will be the approaches you have to follow for that particular field. And whatever there are many approaches are there, we can mix the different type of research also, we can mix the many approaches for your research also. And I hope that the information given in this presentation will be useful for you for selecting and the appropriate research approach. And I would also like to bring to your notice that uh, there is a considerable overlap among the various research approaches also. You can use the different type of approaches but to do your research properly. Okay. So this presentation I will share with you in the Google Classroom. So thank you all of you.